In this life, we are constantly surrounded by movement actions, reactions, decisions, but rarely do we ask, from where do these actions arise? You see, action is not random. Every word spoken, every step taken comes from an inner source. This source is what we call the character of a person, and it is not something loud or flashy. True character is silent. It is the stillness behind movement, the unseen root that gives rise to behavior. Character is not only tested in grand moments, but revealed in the small, unnoticed ones. When nobody is watching, when there is no applause, when the reward is not guaranteed. In these moments, the true self emerges, not the polished self we show to the world, but the authentic self that guides our instincts. To know someone deeply, observe how they move when no one is watching. Many people wear masks not out of malice, but because of fear of judgment, fear of rejection. But character does not rely on masks. It is not concerned with approval. It simply is. That is why we must learn to observe quietly, patiently, as the truth reveals itself through repeated patterns, not isolated moments. So, if you truly want to know someone, don't listen only to what they say. Watch what they do, especially when the moment is quiet and the world is not looking. Because in that quiet, the truth echoes clearly. There are two things that reveal the true character of a human being: consistency and reaction. Consistency is how someone behaves over time, no once, not twice, but repeatedly. Reaction is how someone responds under pressure, in challenge, in difficulty. Together, these are the twin mirrors. They reflect what the surface tries to hide. Anyone can pretend to be kind for one day, to be generous when it's easy, to be calm when the world is quiet. But who are you on the fifth day, when no one thanks you? Who are you when your patience is tested, when your ego is challenged? That is what consistency reveals. Not the story you tell, but the discipline you live. And what about reaction? Imagine someone stepping on your foot. Do you explode in anger? Or do you pause, breathe, and respond with awareness? The way we react under stress shows us what has been cultivated inside. It is not the event that reveals character, it is our reaction to the event. You can learn more about a person in 5 minutes of adversity than in 5 years of comfort. Before we continue, if this message is bringing you clarity or insight, I invite you to support this space by subscribing to the channel. In doing so, you are not just following a voice, you are walking a path of reflection, discipline, and awakening. Let us walk it together. Every experience life gives you is a teaching, but some teachings come quietly. We often focus on external lesson skills, knowledge, success. But life is always also teaching you about yourself through every emotion, every interaction. And if you are willing to observe, you will see that it is the unspoken curriculum, your reactions, your choices, your thoughts that are shaping your character. People often say, I had no choice. I was angry. I was provoked. But you must understand, reaction is not a result of the event. It is a result of who you are at that moment. And who you are, you have cultivated. So every moment you feel anger, jealousy, pride is a chance to see yourself, not to judge, but to understand. Many believe character is fixed, but that is not the way. Character is a garden. You water it, you shape it, or you neglect it, and weeds grow. Every day is a new opportunity to practice what kind of person you wish to become. And this is not a theory, it is a discipline. So the next time life tests you, pause. Don't react, observe. Not the world, but yourself. because that is where the true training begins. And in that stillness, you will learn what kind of person you truly are becoming. Often, we wait for big decisions to define us. The career we choose, the partner we marry, the victories we achieve. But character is not shaped in those big moments. It is shaped in the small, everyday choices, what you eat, how you speak, how you treat a stranger. These are the threads that, over time, weave the fabric of your character. You see, a person who cannot keep small promises cannot be trusted with big ones. If someone cannot stay kind when the world is cruel, their kindness is not yet rooted. And so, to know someone, observe not only how they treat the powerful, but how they treat the powerless. Not just how they act on stage, but how they live behind closed doors. The way a person moves through the small things tells you everything. Do they speak truth when lying would benefit them? Do they offer help when there's no reward? Do they listen when silence would be easier? These are not grand gestures, but quiet signals of the inner world. So pay attention to the little things, because over time, they are not little, they are everything. And this awareness is what turns ordinary living into spiritual discipline. There is a saying, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. In the same way, peaceful times do not reveal true character. Crisis does, difficulty does. When the storm comes and everything familiar is stripped away, then we see the truth not just of others, but of ourselves. Some shout louder when they are afraid. Others become silent. Some blame, while others take responsibility. The difference is not in the situation, it is in the inner world. That is why you must watch how a person behaves in difficulty, because the stress squeezes out what is truly inside. Do they fold under pressure? Or do they rise with calm? Do they hurt others to feel powerful? Or do they protect even when weak? These responses are not trained in the moment. They are trained in years of self-work. So if you want to build strong character, do not avoid difficulty. Embrace it. Let it show you what still needs work. In times of ease, many can pretend, but in crisis, only the truth remains. So the storm is not your enemy, it is your mirror. Look into it, and you will see clearly. Words are easy. Anyone can say the right things, but energy does not lie. A person may speak of peace, yet carry restlessness in their body. They may preach love, yet spread tension when they enter a room. If you wish to understand someone's character, don't only listen to their words, feel their presence. Every human being emits a certain quality. You know this, even if you've never said it aloud. You've met people who say nothing, but whose calm you can feel, and others who smile, yet their presence feels heavy. What you are sensing is not magic, it is the energetic residue of their thoughts, habits, and internal state. This is why the ancient teachings emphasize internal cultivation, not for appearance, but because who you are inside becomes what you broadcast outside. You cannot fake stillness. You cannot pretend presence. They come only from discipline and awareness. So, train yourself to feel more than you hear. In the end, you will not remember what someone said, but how they made you feel. Their words may fade, but their presence, calm or chaotic, will linger. That presence is their true character, speaking louder than any sentence ever could. It is common to blame environment for behavior. They acted that way because of stress, or they had a difficult upbringing. And yes, context matters. Compassion requires us to understand the roots of suffering. But still, character is shown not just by what happens to us, but by how we choose to respond. Two people can face the same hardship. One becomes bitter, the other becomes wise. Why? Because circumstances don't create character, they reveal it. If someone constantly shifts their values depending on the situation, then their values were not yet solid. Like a tree without roots, they sway with every wind. True character remains grounded even when tested. A person of integrity does not act kindly only when it is easy. They act kindly, especially when it is hard. A person of discipline does not practice only when conditions are perfect. They practice in the rain, in the dark, in the silence of no applause. So yes, understand people's circumstances, but do not confuse circumstance with essence. The true measure of a person is not their environment. It is what they choose to bring into that environment. This is a powerful question. Who are you when the answer is no? When the door doesn't open? When you don't get the job, the compliment, the recognition? Most people can be kind when things go their way. But the real test of character is who you become when life says, not this time. Do you remain calm or do you turn bitter? Do you blame others or reflect inward? You see, frustration is a great teacher because in that moment of denial, your ego is exposed. And ego always wants control. It wants to be praised. It wants to be right. When it doesn't get what it wants, it fights, complains, or runs. But the path of the mindful warrior is different. When denied, we do not break. We pause, we breathe, we examine the lesson. We ask not, why me? But what can I learn? And in this reflection, strength is built not just of body, but of spirit. So pay close attention, not to how someone behaves in success, but in disappointment. Because what they do in that moment, that is who they truly are. People often speak of character as something you have or don't have, but that is a misunderstanding. Character is not a possession. It is a daily practice. A path you walk, a choice you make again and again. It is not built by accident, but by awareness and effort. Just like the body is strengthened through training, the spirit is shaped through daily decisions. Do you keep your word even when it's inconvenient? Do you control your anger even when provoked? Do you show up for others even when tired? These choices are your practice, and practice becomes character. If you do not train it, it will not grow. If you do not reflect, it will not deepen. This is why monks train not just in silence, but in discipline, because they understand the internal world must be sharpened like a blade, not for aggression, but for clarity and purpose. So ask yourself daily, what am I practicing? Is it patience or frustration? Is it kindness or judgment? Whatever you practice, you will become. So choose your training wisely. In the end, it does not matter what others think of you. Their praise will fade. Their judgment will pass. What matters is what you see when you look into the mirror of your own soul. Can you sit with yourself in silence? Are you proud of your choices when no one else is watching? This is the final test not of how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. Because the outer world is filled with illusion, but your conscience, it never lies. It knows when you've betrayed your values. It knows when you've acted from fear, not love, and it will remind you gently or loudly until you realign. This is why the journey of character is also a journey of honesty. To be truthful with yourself is one of the most courageous acts. It is not about perfection. It is about alignment. Living in a way that your thoughts, words, and actions flow from the same clear source. So today and every day, return to the mirror knot, the one on your wall, but the one in your heart. Ask yourself, am I who I say I am? And if not, begin again. This is the way.